诸位至诚，礼佛行三问顺礼，一问是。佛号：南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。Please be seated. Good evening, brothers and sisters. How are y'all today? Good. So, are y'all happy today? Yeah. Do you remember what is today? What is today? Yeah. Today is also the full dress rehearsal for Chingay parade. Yeah. I'm very happy I'm here. Yeah. I'm beyond words. Knowing me, of course, I can come up with a lot of words. But yeah, I'm very glad. In fact, just now, after the Qingming meeting, then two of our HODs, they were setting off for the rehearsal, and then they saw me. And then they were saying, oh, we're going for the Qingay. Then I was like, oh, good, 加油, 加油. Then they said, Sifu, aren't you going? I'm like, no, I'm not going. Then they were like, but Guan Pi Fashi says you'll be here, we'll be there. I was like, no, I'm not going. Yeah. So, on behalf of a grateful nation, I want to thank all of you. Okay. So, I hope you all have recuperated from the Chinese New Year. Yeah. It is, well, I think for most people, after the first week, it is mostly over, huh? Yeah, is it over? Yeah, but by right, up to 15. Yeah, so in the monastery, after the first week, then things are back to normal. But there are still some who come and 拜年. In the monastery that I ordained under in US, we don't have any special exception for Chinese New Year. Yeah, it's the same every week, the same. Yeah, class meditation. Okay, so where did we stop the last time? I believe we are at the seventh consciousness. Seventh consciousness. What is the seventh consciousness? It's also known as the mana consciousness. Yeah, it is basically the mind. Yeah, the mind. So we covered at length the first feature of this consciousness. Yeah, or rather that the first aspect, if you will. Yeah, the first aspect. I had a discussion with a Dharma brother, and just as before when I was teaching in Metta, there are certain parts of this sub-commentary. Yeah, this thing here is a sub-commentary. Yeah, it is explaining the commentary that we are using. The commentary we are using is the 100 Dharma doors. Yeah, the 100 Dharma doors. So this is a sub-commentary, meaning this is a set of explanation on that. Yeah. So there are certain parts which I will, as I mentioned before, I will explain according to what the text goes, but I may differ in my explanation, yeah, because I take the reference from my teacher, yeah, and oftentimes I will then cite from which other commentary or which sutra, on what basis I disagree. So, for example, this particular one here, 人我见相应位. Yeah. So, the mind, there are various aspects of the mind. Okay. So this is one aspect where in this stage, if you will, then the mind still have it still resonate. Yeah. Still resonate with 人我见. What is 人我见? The identity view. In many of the Buddhist texts, it's called identity view. Yeah, in Pali, it's basically, rightly speaking, this should refer to Sakkaya Ditthi. Yeah, Sakkaya Ditthi. So, I would agree, yeah, with those that are still under learning. Yeah, still under learning. That those under learning, they may on occasion have a lapse. Yeah. My teacher explained it this way, that those who are enlightened, first stage, second stage, third stage, they may still have a lapse. Yeah. For us, we don't have lapse because we are always in that state. For us, we occasionally have a lapse of clarity. Yeah, the lapse is lapse into clarity. For them, it's lapse out of clarity. So there's a difference between enlightened one and unenlightened beings. Which is why occasionally, sometimes you find that when people say something that usually get to you, that day suddenly, okay, well, you had that lapse into enlightenment. Lapse of ignorance. Yeah. So, in this way we can still agree, okay. But then if we go further down, yeah, if you can recall, so here it includes all the different unenlightened beings and those who are in the early stages before they have attained arahanthood or Pachika Buddhahood. Okay, so they can still have lapse. Yeah, the difference is in one of the metaphor, it describes how for those who are enlightened, even when they have a lapse, yeah, lapse of mindfulness or lapse of that view, it is like if you were to heat up this concrete brick, yeah, or a slab of stone, you heat it up for the whole day with burning charcoal below until it's red hot. Can you imagine a slab of stone becoming red hot? It must be really hot. And then above it were to have some container where it's dripping water. Yeah. What will happen when the drops of water drip down? It will just psst. So my teacher cited this metaphor and described that for enlightened beings, those who are in the first, second, or even third stage, they may have temporary lapse, but it is just as quick that they would come to that realization and rectify it, yeah, dispel that, yeah, as swiftly as it arises, gone, yeah. So, how about those who are 既有无学无学，非有学非无学? Those who are neither learner nor non-learner. The non-learner never have any lapse. Non-learner. Okay? Learner still have a lapse. For us, neither learner nor non-learner. For us, it is like also a slab of stone. Yeah. Occasionally we come for Dhamma class. Then we prepare the material. Yeah. And then we want to start the fire. Then, time's up. We go home. Then we come for meditation class. Then more intense. Start the fire. Then start halfway. Time's up. Go back. Then we come for retreat. Let it burn for a while. Yeah, burn for a while. Then, time's up. We go back home. So that's why some of you ask, Sifu, one day is not long enough. Yeah. Initially, when you first come for retreat, xiong leh, one day leh. It is like the first time when you want to start fire, it takes forever, you don't know how to set a fire and you're just struggling with the technique. So you find that, starting a fire is too tough. But once you have started the fire before, like a bit of spark and a bit of warmth already, you start to appreciate that doing this can bring about some changes. Then you will find that, one day retreat is not enough. Yeah. Then maybe you go for 2 days retreat, 3 days retreat. Wow, lagi better. 1 week retreat. Yeah. Then after the retreat, you go shopping. Then, you pour water all over. Let's take a break. So that's the difference between enlightened and unenlightened one. But therein lies the difference. This analogy that I gave you differs, and it stops here. Because when you come for classes, it's not simply just preparing and heating up. It leaves an imprint nonetheless. Yeah, it leaves an imprint nonetheless. Yeah. And it is this gradual, very, very gradual accumulation of imprints that finally result in our understanding, result in the mind. You know how, for those of you who have been meditating, you'll find that for some strange reason, some days you sit down, quiet. And it's not as though you put in some special effort. But you start to wonder, is it because of the angle that I sit? I seem to be sitting a bit higher up today. Maybe it's the higher up, Yeah. Or if you happen to attend a new class, then you'll be like, this Chuan Guan Fa Sư is very good, no? I attend these other classes for so long. I come here for the first time immediately. Actually, it's not my credit. Actually, it's because you have been meditating with so many other teachers. Yeah, bit by bit you accumulated. It could be the other way around. You keep coming for my classes. Then no results. No. Then you go for one class, somewhere else, boom. Yeah. I like what various masters have described this. Yeah. One of them, Ajahn Chah, he described this. He says, it is like working. Yeah. When you go to work every day, you don't get any money. You may be working very hard, maybe a lot of tough things to do, but you don't get any money. But on payday, maybe everybody is not doing work, but you get a lot of money. Yeah. Now this is interesting because Ajahn Chah is a Thai monk, Thai Venerable. So he, by right, shouldn't. I shouldn't say that he don't agree with Yogacara school, Yeah. But you never hear Theravadan tradition like bring up any of these so-called Mahayana teachings and teaching it. Yeah. Most of them who have actually take the time to go and read it and find out what is inside, they would quite readily agree that it is in line with the Buddha's teaching. Yeah. But there are some pockets, some who have not been exposed, and by their tradition they are not wrong. By their tradition they should say, because it's not in the Pali Canon, so sorry. Yeah. But later when we cover the 8th consciousness, I will highlight something else to you. That you will realize that indeed, all these teachings has its roots in the early Buddhism. In early Buddhism. So this portion here, 七地以前之菩萨的有漏行为. So those bodhisattvas before stage 7. Before stage 7, here it says those who are in the stages before stage 7. This is nothing to do with this 7 consciousness. It's more about how in the Bodhisattva path there are 10 stages. Have I drawn for you all the 10 stages? Yes, usually I covered that earlier. So, in the earlier part, sometimes the Bodhisattva may also lapse. So here it's referring to the moments where the Bodhisattva lapse. And when they lapse, then they connect and they resonate. There are seats in front. Free upgrade to the business class. Occasionally there are lapses. And then they may resonate with what? With the self. Resonate with I, me. Think about the last time you think about yourself. And how many times when you think, when your I is involved, then you get in trouble. Think about the last time when you have a quarrel with someone. It is almost always when there's an I involved, If you're not involved, you won't quarrel with people. Either that or yours is involved. Your this, your that. Again, it's mine. If it's nothing to do with you, usually we don't care. But in Buddhism, we're not suggesting for us not to care as well. We're saying, let's learn something new. We typically care when we see it as mine. That means when we identify with it and are attached to it, then we say, I care. This is normal, nothing wrong with it. No crime and shame about that. The reverse, if we say we don't want to care, then it's usually connected with, it's not mine. You don't consider it to be yours, then you don't care. You're not attached to it, then you don't care. You're not affected, and so on. These 2 ways, this is easy. You don't need to come to Koming San. You don't need to attend Dhamma classes to learn this. Anyone and everyone know how to do this. Small kids know how to do this. Small kids without you teaching them even. They know. If it's theirs, no, this one my one. But once if they give it away, then they don't care about it. They don't care. But in Buddhism, we want to try something different. To care, even for those that we don't consider to be ours. To care without attachment. This is not easy. We don't say that it's easier, so don't tell me, Sifu, difficult, cannot do. Difficult, of course difficult. Bringing up a child is also difficult. How many of you are doing it? Right? Understand or not? Understand? Only one person raised his hand. The only one. Understand or not? There are many things in life that is difficult. Starting a family is difficult. Just getting married itself is difficult, 6 months planning at least. I never get married, I also know. It's not easy. As I shared with someone this afternoon, the why and the how. I often highlight, you don't get married just because it's easy, How many of you are married here? Raise your hands. Okay. I don't understand the question. Okay, I want you all to think about it, okay? If your husband, it's not that I'm like male chauvinist, or I'm like stuck with some ideas, but I'm just going with the usual norm, okay? The usual norm is that the guy will propose to the girl. Sometimes it's the girl who proposes. It's okay, nowadays. But imagine whether it's the guy or the girl. If your spouse were to propose to you and ask you to marry him or her, then you're like, but why should I marry you? Did you all ask your spouse this question? Why should I marry you? Or do you all just, yes, yes. What took you so long? You all should always ask, who knows, What if your spouse were to tell you the government is giving some grants and the deadline is next month, so I thought maybe if we ROM. Unfortunately, right? It's crazy, isn't it? You see, nobody as much as I'm not for or against marriage, me and all, to me, if anyone should get married, it should be for some crazy love, Yeah, I'm serious. As much as, I teach people to not be attached or whatever, but if you're going to get married, might as well do it properly, right? And really find someone that you really like. You want to wake up every day and see that person, just for some crazy reasons, whatever reasons. It better be that, and not because it's cheap or convenient or easy. Your spouse kind of asks you like, will you marry me? Like, why should I marry you? Well, I thought you'd be the easy one. I thought you would just say yes. You don't. Yeah, you shouldn't. In the same way, I often tell people, Buddhism is not easy. Buddhism is a tough religion. Yeah. Not that it's made tough, but the goal itself is very tough, very hard. Yeah. So if you're trying to look for an easy way, this is not the way. But of course, the Buddha taught many ways, many paths. Yeah. The path to enlightenment is never easy. Yeah. The path to rebirth is easy. If you want to have eternal life, just don't do anything. By default, in Buddhism, the default is you have eternal life. Yeah? Endless cycles of rebirth. The challenge is, or the trouble with that is, sometimes you happen to do the right thing, sometimes you do the bad things, and then you have to suffer the consequences. Yeah. The Buddha is not against people going rounds and round. He's just saying that, the chances are higher that you will do stupid things, as long as you don't have wisdom. Yeah. So better do something about it. So, for those bodhisattvas who are before the stage or before stage 7, they can still have this lapse. Bodhisattvas are those who commit themselves to tirelessly, life after life after life after life after life after life after life, endlessly. Some say that until they attain Buddhahood. But after all these years, I have this understanding. In fact, the so-called Buddhahood is really a phase, if you will. Just a name, Just a name to refer to the person who appear in a time where there's no teachings. That everybody is groping around in the dark, struggling, fearful, uncertain, and then this person arises to show the way. Whoever does that is called Buddha. Because whoever does that must be able to be self-awakened. And to be called a Sammasambuddha must be able to teach the teaching in all its aspects. Whoever does that is called a Buddha. A Bodhisattva, once they reach stage 10, they will do that. And after all the conditions is expanded to do that, then they enter Parinibbana. And then they look around and say, okay, what else can I do now? They don't rest. They don't say, "Wow, xiong leh. Time for my annual leave. I must take a break." No. Bodhisattvas never say, "I must take a break." No holiday. No such an idea of holiday. You may think, "Walao eh, 上了贼船." In that case, I better don't come for this class. 大乘, wala, xiong lah. Yeah. But if you ask any mother, mothers once a year during Mother's Day will complain a bit and say, "Hey, see, I so xiong." But mothers throughout the whole year have the same mindset. Is there any mother here, or father for that matter, who say, "Son, tomorrow I'm on my annual leave. Next 2 weeks annual leave, I'm around, but don't come and look for me." Unfortunately, there are. Wow, 可悲啊. Yeah, please don't raise your hand, okay, if you are one of them. So, 由第七世缘阿赖耶识 身其我见. So here, this is the part where I disagree. Because it says that when the mind lectures to the id consciousness, and here, when it says id consciousness, as I mentioned earlier, is the 见分, which is the visible aspect, which is basically the manifested aspect. Yeah, and from there arises the self-view. Okay, arises the self-view. Yeah, depending on how you read this, if you say that they still have self-view, then that's a big question mark. Yeah, because by right, those who have reached first stage have eradicated self-view, Sakya Ditti. That means the concept or the idea that there's a self. Yeah, they are no longer attached to it. Yeah. So perhaps the only way to still agree with this section here is to say that it is a lapse, yeah, and just a lapse. They don't subscribe to it as strongly as a view. Yeah. Otherwise, it's in contradiction with the rest of the Buddha's teaching. Okay. Yeah. So this is the first section. That the mind is has these various aspects or phases. Yeah. During the unenlightened phase, then it resonates with self. Yeah. For us, when we wake up in the morning, what do? We go to the toilet. Yeah. Oh, I'm high tide. Oh, go to the toilet, then okay, then we check. They all do that. All of you are laughing, you know. Then we check white hair. Whose white hair? Our white hair. Think about it. This may be funny, but think about it. Whose white hair do we check? For sure, our own. Yeah. Or okay, let me put it this way: we check our hair, not that you all have white hair. Okay, we check for white hair, but we also check other people's hair. Yeah, and it's not just hair, of course. But whose hair do we check? When you take the bus and you see that the bus driver has white hair, do you even think about the fact that he has white hair? Do you even consider, why does he have white hair? Is it hereditary? Is it because the bus driver has been working double shift? Yeah. Is it because the bus driver perhaps even do other odd jobs at night, so he's not having enough rest? Is it because the bus driver is having some sicknesses? So, why do we not think about that? Not that we, again, not to say that we are bad people, but simply because at this stage when we are not enlightened, the bus driver is not directly related to me. Yeah? Correct? Yeah. So not my whoever. Yeah. Even if he's my bus driver, it's just for that ride. Yeah. So it in a sense is understandable. Yeah. It's understandable why we are concerned about certain things and not concerned about other things. And in the same vein, this is why in the Bodhisattva practice, then it is making use of the same mechanism, yeah, to help us to extend our care and concern. To consider that the Buddha in the Matta Sutta, this is where there's a connection with the Pali Canon. The Buddha says, all sentient beings have ever been our father and mother. If we are grateful to our father and mother, if we are filial to our father and mother, then we should consider that every single sentient being that ever existed would have at some point in time been our father or mother. Yeah. Not in this life, yeah, but in some life. So the Buddha is very skillful. Yeah. Help us to develop compassion. Yeah. Develop love and compassion. If we cannot remove the ego yet, the self yet, okay, make use of that in a positive way. Yeah. Let me hear Wilson's question first. What thing? No, it's not always. It's just that as long as we don't change the condition, then this lack of condition is going to perpetuate itself. Yeah, because you can actually... Yes. Yes.
Jean?
Yes. Uh, 我吃我慢我爱我慢 yes. Yeah. So she's referring to the four things. If you refer to the one in front, 我吃我见我慢我爱. So 我见 refers to the identity view, the self view. But this is by right removed when you reach first stage of enlightenment. On that basis, I disagree. But I also mentioned that if it is a lapse, if this is considered a lapse, then it's still possible. Okay, firstly. Secondly, 我吃, the delusion of a self. Delusion of a self is still possible from ignorance. From ignorance. From ignorance and also conceit. And craving. Craving is still possible because the full removal of ego is not complete yet. I would draw this distinction. Maybe this requires some explanation. What is the difference between 我见 and 我慢? Okay? So, the difference between these two, this is a view. The view of a self. Self-view, if you will. Sometimes also termed identity view. The second one is what we sometimes translate as ego or conceit. In Buddhism, we could distinguish them in this way. This involve our thinking, our discrimination. This is more internal. The second one, this is the first one, this is the second one. The second one is more internal. And the closest I can describe it at this point in time is this. When someone let's say, have an argument with you, okay? Someone have an argument with you. You may feel hurt, or you may feel upset or angry. There are many different levels of it. For example, if you are in your office and someone shouted, and that's the start of the argument, okay? Someone shouted at you. Before you turn around, you get a shock. That shock, that shock is what I would call something due to our conceit, which is very internal. When you get that shock, you don't need to think, NRIC number 7 something. You don't have to think in that way. You don't have to think, I, a dentist, I'm shocked. I, a mother, I, a father. You don't think in this way. But as you turn around and you see that it's your boss, what happened? Yes. No more anger. But if you turn around and you see your subordinate, do you just shout at me? And in this case, the me is, I'm your boss. The me is your boss. If it's your boss who shouted at you, yes, boss, do you call me? Also me. But in this case, it's me who is your subordinate. So this second level is what I call the 我见, included inside this. The second level is with discrimination. It's fabricated. fabricated. The first level. The second level is very internal. Yeah, very subtle, very internal, but very deep-seated. Okay? Understand? Oh. So this is the distinction. In the Chinese tradition, we give it a name. We can call this first one 分别我见. Yeah, 分别我执 rather 分别我执. The second one is what we call 具身我执. So this would be Okay, hang on. So this would be discriminated self-attachment, and this would be for the lack of a single term that explains the whole thing, I'm going to just use innate or inborn. But you must know that when we say inborn, it is because as long as you are unenlightened, it seems to come with you. The moment you are born is there. Yeah. So in this way, this is a more innate, internal form of attachment to the self. Okay? Lily, yes. How do you observe the 具身我执? How do you observe it? You meditate. You might meditate. Yeah, but when I say meditate, it doesn't just mean that you sit there and meditate. It includes that. But eventually, all the forms of practices has to extend to your day-to-day life. All the practices, no matter which tradition you are in, at the later stage, it will quite naturally, if you progress up to a certain stage, it will naturally spill over to the rest of your day. Yeah, you will not be limited to that 2 hours, yeah, where you are meditating or chanting or reciting mantra. No, it will gradually flow over. Yeah, even those who, how many of you practice Pure Land Buddhism, where you recite Amitofo or Yao Sifo or any? Nobody? Huh? Wow, hey, Pure Land. Raise your hand. Wow, okay, put down your hand. Yeah, next time if anybody asks you, you should. Must be proud. I'm a Pure Lander. Yeah? The Pure Land Sutra, Amitabha Sutra, is a prospector's guide to, prospector's guide to a retreat center that is super huge. So huge, it's a world, a retreat world. Yeah, think about it. Yeah, think about it. And nothing to be shameful. Yes, I'm a Pure Lander. So, if you are practicing that, then how to observe your ego? It's not simply just blindly day in, day out, Amitofo. Because if you just do that, it's admirable also. But you are practicing samatha. Yeah. But through the practice of samatha, then it helps you to develop awareness. Because if you chant long enough, you'll find that occasionally your mind will lapse. You will stray. And it is during those periods where you are supposed to be aware, you use the Buddha's name as a marker. To put it bluntly, okay, you are just using it as a marker, such that the moment your aim is off the marker, it is easier to tell. Without a fixed marker, it's hard to tell whether your mind has moved because we are following the mind. But if your mind is fixed onto a marker, the moment, in this case, Amitofo, the moment the mind is not Amitofo, you immediately know that your mind has moved. So this is a very powerful tool, and practice to help you know that your mind has moved. If you cannot even see that your mind has moved, what chance do we have to overcome anger? Anger don't just happen like that. No. It's a very a relatively long series of discursive thinking, spinning, and then it gravitates and veer towards unwholesome angle. Then at some point it manifests as anger. Yeah. So it's not so trivial. Yeah. So if we were to practice Pure Land, it helps us to see this. And if you can observe in this way, then one day you can observe the ego at work. Not just meditation. And likewise, if you meditate and you just think, oh, I just sit quietly like that whole day, don't move and nobody disturb me, everybody keep quiet. You go to ICU, you go to some remote island, yeah. At night when you are sleeping, you're also not moving. Doesn't mean you're not. Yeah. So whatever practices you do, at a later stage, they do converge. Yeah. But you must do the practice with the right view, you see. And that's why the Buddha keep highlighting that all the practices, Noble Eightfold Path starts with right view. Your mindset must be correct. Yeah. So back to this difference between these two. Yeah. So for the first stage, second stage, and third stage, like the Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami, they have removed this, the view, but not conceit. Arahants remove conceit. Yeah. So the question of the four kinds of taints, if you will, delusion, view, conceit, and craving, the Youxue, those with learning, under the category of learning, that means they are first, second, third, and fourth stage, they would have removed view, the wrong view. Okay, but delusion, it can still lapse because the root of ego, conceit, the ignorance that is still there. Yeah? So this and this can still arise. Still subject. Okay. So this is describing that our mind have this aspect. Yeah. And this aspect, you can say that it's a phase where we are in. Sometimes we veer out of this phase towards another phase. Sometimes we get stuck so deep into this phase we don't even realize it. Yeah. Now, what is the other phase? 法见法我见,法我见相应位. So the difference here, 人我 and 法我. Okay, 法空智果未现前时，有法执心缘艺熟艺熟事起法我见. So quite a mouthful. Let me write it down. So you'll get bonus from this class. You learn Chinese. 法我见相应位. So here, I have explained to you all what is the meaning of Fa, right? Dhamma. Have I? There are three meanings. The first one is just things in general. Okay? All kinds of things. Phenomena. Second one, principles and structure. Guides and so on. And of all these different kind of principles and teachings, there's one particular type that give rise to all good things. We call that Buddha Dhamma. So that's the third type. Here is referring to the first type. I would choose to use small d, more out of convention than anything. Here we are referring to phenomena. And here again the 我法我见 it is on one level the attachment to things as mine, okay, but also attachment to things as real. Yeah, that it has some inherent nature, that it has some substantiality. Okay, so this second category is referring to the attachment to all phenomena as real, yeah, as having substantiality by itself. Okay. This term 法我见 is also synonymous to 法执. Okay? In other words, attachment to phenomena. Now, I have ever encountered, sadly, a good number of Mahayana Buddhists, lay and monastics alike, unfortunately, interpreting this as attachment to the teachings. Yeah. Well, they are not entirely wrong, because here, Dharma, under the category of phenomena, refers to everything. So, of course, it includes the teachings also. But here, it's not just referring to teachings, as wrongly imputed by many. Yeah? And this is one area where, as much as I'm ordained in the Mahayana tradition, I'm not proud to say that there's a lot of, maybe I should correct myself, not a lot, but some Mahayana Buddhists who would go on and on about how, Arahants still have attachment to the teachings. But it's first of all, a wrong interpretation of the teachings is already. Yeah, because here is about attachment to phenomena, not teachings. Yeah, although it includes teachings, but it's not simply about teachings. Fa Zhi is not simply about, you're so attached to the Dharma. Yeah, you'll find that there are some Buddhists who, after learning some of these terms, then take this term and measure everybody. Yeah, and the moment you have an argument with them and they are losing, they'll say, don't be so attached to Dharma. This is a total misconstrue of this aspect of the teaching. Yes. Yes. All phenomena. All phenomena. Yeah. It is as what the Buddha mentioned in the Sabba Sutta. Yeah, Sabba Sutta. The all. In fact, usually when we use the term Fa, Dharma as phenomena, it is almost always all phenomena. Yeah, almost always. Yeah. Sometimes they may say, 若有一法, yeah, if there's one thing. Yeah, but it means if there's one thing, it can be anything. Yeah, which basically the scope is everything. Okay? So, let's look at this part here. Then it may help you to appreciate what this is talking about. 法空治国未现前时. So, again, it's quite a mouthful. 法空治国. So, I'm going to just give you the term translation, then explain to you the whole phrase. Emptiness of all phenomena. Wisdom, the fruit. So, this phrase is referring to the fruition, yeah, the fruition of the wisdom of knowing the emptiness of all phenomena. Yeah. When we first learn about the teachings of the phenomena, there are so many things. Then we learn about how it's impermanent. Okay. Then we learn that it's empty. Okay. But at this point, it's just knowledge. Yeah. Then, as you reflect, okay, that knowledge, in a way, is a form of wisdom, but that wisdom becomes deeper. Yeah. Contemplative wisdom. But when you practice, cultivate, and you see directly that, it is like that. It is, in fact, empty of any inherent nature, any substantiality. Then you call that the fruition of this wisdom. Yeah. It's no longer a very preliminary or superficial understanding. Okay. So here it says, 法空自果未生起时. Okay, so it refers to the phase where such a certain being has not arisen this wisdom, has not reached this stage. Okay? 法空自果未现起时，由法执心缘易熟时. Okay, so because of attachment to phenomena. Why is there attachment to phenomena? Because you have not seen that it's empty. Once you see that it's empty, there's no more attachment. So in this phase, where there's still attachment, it's because there is still a lack of this wisdom. The wisdom has not arisen. Okay? And in that case, what happened? You, 法执, due to this attachment to phenomena, 心缘易熟时, the mind latches onto, focus on, connects with this. Here, 易熟时 is another term. 易熟时, I will write down, don't worry. It refers to alaya consciousness. The same consciousness, the number 8. Okay, this refers to number 8. Let me write it down for you. Yeah, I know you love it, right? Amitofo. Yeah. So this is what we call 专用名词. It's a technical term. Okay. So this is the part where we will, in a way, be somewhat linked. But for now, I'm going to just describe in brief. This, first of all, refers to the alaya consciousness. Okay? So there's this consciousness here, over here. So here, yi, it means varied or different. So is ripening, ripe or ripening. Okay? So I want you to hold this thought first. Yeah. When we reach the alaya consciousness today, I will cover. I've been talking about reaching alaya consciousness for the longest time. I'm not lying. We just somehow never get there. Okay? So for this, at this point, just know that it is attachment to the alaya consciousness. But why this name? Yi Shou. Yeah? Why Yi Shou? That the ripening is different. In what way is it different? Later I will explain to you, okay? Yeah, because of this attachment, the attachment to all phenomena, the mind latches on to the alaya consciousness, some aspect of it, and then give rise to the view of the self. Yeah. Again here, it says, or the view of the substantiality or the self within phenomena. Okay? So this is the second aspect. Second aspect. So here, who are the ones who have not given rise to Fa Kong Zhi? Within the Mahayana tradition, there seem to be varying definition of the 10 stages also. There are those schools that states once you reach first stage Bodhisattva path, you have seen this Fa Kong. Yeah. You have given rise to this. Yeah. But in some other texts, it gives more explanation and say that is just like a glimpse. Yeah. So it's not full fruition yet. Only when you reach stage 8. Yeah. Once you reach stage 8, you are supreme. Even arahants, no fight. Not that they ever fight. Okay? Well, someday I will do a Grandmaster chart for all of you. There are a lot of Grandmaster chart out there already. In fact, some of your fellow students have sent me a few different charts and asked me, is it okay if we photocopy and distribute? I hesitate. The reason is because just in case if it happened to be from one particular lineage which may have a slight variance, then I am having to explain this other variant. Yeah, when the original purpose was just to explain the commentary with this sub-commentary. Then if 10 of you send me 10 variants, then I have to explain 10 more. Yeah, then we will never get past this page and never reach alaya consciousness. Are you all lost at this point in time? How many of you are lost? Raise your hand. Huh? No. I'm serious. How many of you are lost? Okay, very good. It is normal. Let me draw this out. So we have the mind. Okay. Hang on. What is today's date? 18. So we have the 7 consciousness. So this is also the mind. And so the mind itself, there are various phases. Okay? And in one phase, there is still self-view. And in another phase, there is still or maybe person self-view, to be more correct. And then Dhamma self-view. Okay? Yeah. We have covered this, the previous lesson, and then I wrap up today, and then I just touch on this. Yeah? For most of us, we have never even learned about this. So you may wonder, if I don't even know that this exists, how can I have this wrong view? Yeah? So, how many of you have died before? How many of you have died before in this life? Died. You have died before. Died. Yeah, 是. You have died. 差一点啦 So 还没有死了 Close. Near-death experience. Besides her and me, so the rest of you have not almost died, huh? Okay, besides the 3 of you, okay. The rest of you who have not died before, do you feel something for death? You can still have fear for death, isn't it? Huh? Some of you lah. Some of you may have a liking for death, I don't know. So the point is that even though you may not have experienced it But you can still feel for it, no? Yeah, you can still feel for it. There are many creatures out there that we don't know exist. But when we see it, we can still have fear for it. Yeah? In somewhat a similar way. Huh? 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 What? No, there can be many creatures out there that we have never seen before. Yeah? But doesn't mean that we don't have fear for them. Yeah? In somewhat a similar way. This is my attempt to give an analogy of how, even though we have not learned, if we had not learned about this, what happened to that? Even though we have not learned, before we have learned this, yeah, does it mean that we don't have this attachment? Not necessarily. Yeah, not necessarily. If we say that our ego and all those things need to be learned, then small kids by right should be enlightened, because they haven't learned anything. Yeah, but in Buddhism we don't say that they are enlightened already. Yeah. It is just that the potential is there, but it has not come to manifest yet. Not manifested yet. In the same way, at this point, we may have defilements. But are they active? Are you angry? Say no. Are you happy? Say yes. No. You all are not happy, huh? Are you all angry now? No. Yeah? Does it mean that you are free of anger? No. There's still that potential. Isn't it? Yeah? The potential is still there. Yeah? So although this is not apparent or active, but the potential is there for all of us. Yeah? Until you totally eradicate not just the manifested, but also the potential, then you are considered to be enlightened. Yeah, enlightened. Okay? So, this is about the mind. Okay? Let's look at the third. 平等性智相应位. So this is the next stage, and final stage rather. 法空智果正现前时. So this is the third stage, where there is wisdom. In a way, this is the negation of the first two. Yeah, this is this first one, self-view, is a specific instance of this. Specific instance of this. This is attachment to all things having inherentness, having substantiality. Whereas this, the first one, okay, the first, second, third. The first one is being attached to a specific aspect of this world. Yeah? Attached to certain things, having me, yeah? Having attachment to it as belonging to mind, yeah? A person, if you will, person self-view. The second one is more massive, yeah? Covering everything. The third one is basically an absence of the first two. That means you have eradicated personality, self-view, and Dharma, self-view. Yeah? You remove these two, you see clearly that everything is insubstantial, impermanent, void of any inherent self or entity. Yeah, this is the third stage. Who is in this third stage? Enlightened ones. I personally feel that Arahants can be in this stage. Yeah? But I must tell you that in some of the schools, they say that Arahants are stuck in this stage. Yeah, I don't agree. I personally don't agree. So don't come and argue with me, okay? Yeah, but let's look at this. 法空治国正现前时. So when this wisdom of how all things are empty, yeah, has reached fruition, yeah, then what happened? 通于一切如来相续，菩萨见道位. Yeah, so here you see 见道位. 见道位 refers to first stage. Yeah, 见道. Yeah. 密正二空故. Yeah, so this is one definition. Yeah, but in some other texts it says the first stage is just preliminary. Then up to stage 8 Bodhisattva. Yeah, in the Avatamsaka Sutra, yeah, this last December, I had this blessing to join the Avatamsaka hall and then recite 20 of the 80 chapters. Yeah, and then in that 20 chapters that I recited 25 to 44, yeah, it covered the 10 stages of the Bodhisattva path. And it clearly states that only those who have reached stage 8 then is superior over the Arahants. Yeah, superior over Arahants. And it highlights that those who are in the first stage, Bodhisattva, by right they are still inferior to Arahant. Yeah? But in many places they are said to be superior. What is the basis? It is on basis of their vow. That their vow is so great. Not that they are really free of defilements. Yeah? So in terms of defilement, actually not comparable. Rightly speaking, not comparable. Stage 1 to 7. Yeah. So here, Buddhas, yeah, they are constantly abiding in this. Yeah. Buddhas are always in this stage. Those Bodhisattvas, here it says, Bodhisattvas who have reached the Jian Dao Wei. Again, this is yet another term. I won't go into the full enchilada to explain the whole thing, but there's the Jian Dao. Yeah, Jian Dao Wei. Before Jian Dao, Dao refers to the path. Okay, when you have seen the path. In other words, the initial stage. Yeah. Before Jian Dao, there is the Ziliang Wei. Yeah, where you are accumulating merits. Yeah. The description is that attaining Buddhahood is like going on a journey. Yeah. Like if you want to go to India, you want to go to Japan, what do? You must amass a lot of resources. Today, what kind of resources do you need? You need an air ticket. In the past, they need to amass a lot of grains, a lot of water. They need caravans to travel from places to places. Yeah, they cannot simply just buy an air ticket. There's no air ticket to begin with. So in the sutras and commentaries, the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas and the Arahants, they use these as a metaphor, yeah, to describe the path towards enlightenment. Yeah. So the early stages, before stage 1, yeah, in the Bodhisattva path, is considered the stage of accumulation of resources, 资粮位. Yeah. Then 见道, then 修道. Yeah. So only when you see the path, then after that you can really cultivate. Yeah. Yes. It's difficult to directly draw a parallel between the Bodhisattva path and the Shravaka path. Yeah. But sometimes in some places they loosely equate these two. Yeah. But they are not equivalent. 见道不是，见道是之前。Yeah, 八地菩萨很后面了。八地菩萨 the 8th stage Bodhisattva is very advanced already. Yeah, 八地菩萨 is very advanced already. Very advanced already. Very advanced already. Yeah, we need to go to Alaya today. Yeah, we need to take the train to Alaya. So, for those who have reached 见道, 必正二空故, would have attained the realization, the wisdom of how self and phenomena are all empty. Yeah. So this is by definition. 即修到位，中法空智果现前。Yeah. So here, 见道 and 修道, the two stages coming back to back. In these stages, 由彼智缘无垢. So, in these stages, when the wisdom arises, through the wisdom, they, instead of connecting to worldly things and then give rise to defilements, yeah, instead of giving rise to ignorance, giving rise to delusion of the self and so on and so forth, here, the wisdom resonate, connect with what? Taint-free. Yeah, 无垢. Yeah, 无垢. Taint-free. Taint-free. Yeah. In other words, purity. And what is purity? The true nature of all phenomena. Yeah, the true nature of all phenomena. To I was going to answer in a tongue-in-cheek manner that maybe you are one of them. But after hearing your whole question, then I realized that I cannot answer that way. Where are they? Are they somewhere else, or are they among us? Being among us, can they be taint-free? Yes. The problem is not with this world, really. In the classical teaching, the Buddha highlights that this place subject to change, is impermanent, subject to change, subject to suffering. It is to help those who connect in this way to release their attachment. We see this world. It's not that we don't see this world, no, but we only see one part of this world, the part that we want to see, the part that we like. So the Buddha's teaching in the classical text, the canon, focuses on helping this group of people to release that attachment. And that's why in the Pali canon you see how the Buddha would describe that the bhikkhu practice in this way, in the first jhana, second jhana, and so on, up to fourth jhana, then he see as it is. That form is impermanent, subject to change, subject to suffering. And consider it not to be fit for as mine, me, or myself. And seeing thus, revulsion arise, dispassion arise, renunciation arise. This is one approach, very powerful approach. But in the Bodhisattva path, then it's an interesting thing. It says, despite that, the problem is still not the outside world. The problem is our attachment to it, because we don't see properly. If you can see properly, then it's as good as not a problem. Now, they don't need to go to a special place anymore. In some ways, it can be included. Yes. Yes. In that way, yes. Instead of looking for some other world to be enlightened in. Because even in the Pure Land teachings, again, in the Pure Land teachings, do not think that Pure Land teaching is simply quickly go to another world to practice. Because in the Pure Land teachings, it highlights your practice here and now as well. It doesn't say that, oh, You're going to go there anyway, so just cruise along until you die. Yeah, no. It says you should start your practice immediately. Yeah, because then you will be reborn once you have the Pure Land rebirth. Then instead of 下品下生, then you are 中品 or 上品上生. Wow, lucky best. Yeah, those. No, not necessarily. Yeah, you. Yeah. Yeah, it's not reserved. There's no reservation. There's only one reservation. I correct myself. The only reservation is for those who cultivate. Whether you're monastic or not, I mean, as much as I'm a monastic, putting on the robes, shaving your hair, if you don't practice, it doesn't give you a special privilege. Yeah, not like, eh. Psst, psst. No, it doesn't work that way. Yeah, it's not an exclusive club. Yeah. Alaya consciousness. Okay, Alaya shi wei zhang shi. Okay, we reach Alaya consciousness. No. ちょっと待ってください。お願いします。すみません。Okay. Alaya shi. Wait, let me finish the last part first. Yu bi zhi yuan wu gou. So with the mind, at this stage, the mind is different, totally different from the unenlightened being, and the mind, in this case, has given rise to the wisdom of emptiness. Yeah, and later I will explain the distinction between emptiness in the two schools, Madhyamika and Yogacara. So here, with this wisdom, resonating with purity, with tin-free, with ultimate reality. Yeah, 一熟识等. Yeah, so again here, 一熟识 alaya consciousness. Yeah, the varied ripening consciousness. Yeah, is another name for alaya consciousness. 一切有漏即真如. Yeah, so all that which is default and ultimate reality, 真如. This is the default. 平起平等性质. Yeah, so in this stage, then the wisdom sees all as equal. Yeah, everything as equal. Ultimate reality. At our stage, you cannot see it as equal. Because at this stage, if you see, ultimate reality and default is equal, then I'm already enlightened, so don't have to practice anymore. So it's a very dangerous view, okay? Yeah. At our stage, it's still not. So if you see it as different, good, continue. Because this will give you the impetus to practice. Let me give you a simple example. If you lose your key, and you cannot get back to your own house, you cannot unlock it. Yeah. Then you're frantic, or maybe you are in your house, and then the latch, the lock, you cannot get out. Not that there's a fire, okay, but you want to go out, but you cannot go out, so you're stuck. You search high and low, you search the whole house, cannot find. Then you call your husband or your wife or your children or your friend, and then your friend say, "Have you checked your own pocket?" And then you check your own pocket. Hey, yeah, it's here. Hey, it's here all the while. Yeah. With that, then you can unlock. You may think, in that case, I don't have to search all over the place. It was always here. But just knowing that it's always here is not good enough. You must still take it out and unlock. You must still take it out and unlock. But it so happened that it's here. Just knowing it is not good enough. You must still go and get it. If it's somewhere in the house, you still need to go and look for it. In particular, the Mahayana tradition, there's this very strong emphasis on Buddha nature. And I have often mentioned this, Buddha nature. It is a very powerful teaching. It talks about how all sentient beings have this potential for good, for perfection, despite our failings. And within this, it gives us that energy, that potential to practice, to improve ourselves, and also for us to give others a chance. Yeah, but not blind chance, not just give a free ticket, let that person do whatever they want. The person must consistently put in effort to change. Otherwise, the potential is just a potential. If you take an apple seed, you cannot equate the apple seed with an apple tree or an apple. The apple seed has a potential to become a tree, but it's not a tree yet. Yeah, so in the Zen tradition, later Zen anyway, there's this emphasis, or 这个明心见性，本来面目哈。Or that we have already this potential. We have this potential, but it's just a potential. We are not Buddha yet. We are not Buddha yet. Are there those who, through this realization, is able to have a miraculous, amazing, incredible change? Yeah, someone like Venerable Sariputra. One moment he's not enlightened, he just hear the verse, 此有故不有，此无故彼无，我佛大沙门常作如是说。Boom. Stage 1 enlightenment. Sariputra. Venerable Sariputra. But you must not forget, he has been cultivating for many years, many lives, many aeons to reach this stage. To reach this stage. So this is something very crucial. Although here it says that those beings who are enlightened see that they are all equal. But are we at that stage? Not yet. Sometimes we make use of this teaching to help us to overcome our defilements. But sometimes we must see it as separate to spur us to practice. So we must take the right medicine. So finally we reach alaya consciousness. Okay, alaya 是意为藏识. So alaya consciousness. So this finally we reach this alaya consciousness. So what is alaya? Alaya it means storage. 意为藏识. So alaya consciousness is basically storage consciousness. 有能障、所障、执障三义. So there are three meanings to this storage: that which can store, that which is stored, and the attachment of this store. These three meanings. 能障即第八识，能含藏前七转世等诸法种子. So the ability to store, 能障 or 能藏, depending on which pronunciation you want to use. Alaya consciousness, known as a storage consciousness, has this capacity to store. Store what? 能障即第八识. So the eighth consciousness, this is number 8. Di ba shi, 能含藏, it is able to store, it's able to be a storage repository for what? 能藏前七转世. What is 前七转世? So we have the 8th, the 7th, then the first 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These are the consciousness. What are the first 6? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. Okay? This is the eye consciousness. Okay? ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, mind consciousness. Yeah. Then we have this mana consciousness, which is basically the mind. Yeah, this is number 7. Mana consciousness. And here we have alaya consciousness. Yeah, yes, I'm going to explain. Very good. 前期转世. So, this first 7 is the active aspect of our existence. The first 7 is the active aspect. Yeah. And that is the meaning of Chuan. That it is active, it is manifested. Yeah. So all this, what else? Don't stop there. Because 等诸法. So this is the 7 consciousness. In the Yogacara school, there are 11 consciousness mentioned. Yeah, not just 8 consciousness. In the Yogacara school, not just eyes, nose, tongue, body and mind, not just mana, not just alaya. Numbers is also considered a form of consciousness. Men and women, all this, a lot of different categories, all hamplang inside. Yeah. When we say 前期转世, the first 7 active consciousness, it basically includes everything that is manifested. Yeah. Later on, when we explore how this consciousness interact with outside world, we typically look at it as outside world, isn't it? Yeah. This is internal, and then there's the outside. Form, sound, smell, taste, touch, and mental objects. Of course, mental object is typically seen as internal also. Yeah. But later on, when we go further into the 6 consciousness in various aspects, I will cover that. Okay. Where, hey, you realize that in the Yogacara school, the outside is not so outside also. Okay, so slowly. Let's see how much of the alaya consciousness we can cover today. So, this whole 7 actually includes the whole world. Yeah, all this is the 诸法, 种子. So, this is 诸法. 前期转世等, okay, 等诸法. This, etc., which includes all the phenomena. Yeah. What about them? All this is the active one, is the manifested. This is where the Chuan comes in. Okay? But manifested from where? Manifested from the seeds. Zhongzi. So in other words, the 8th consciousness is a repository to store all the seeds that's responsible for manifesting everything. Yeah. That's basically what this first stanza is about. Yeah. The 8th consciousness stores everything, hamplang, all the seeds. Yeah. The seeds are just seeds. But when the seeds manifest, it becomes this world. Yeah. And all this, the whole world have its seeds within alaya consciousness. Okay? Now, 种子是所藏. Yeah. So the seeds is that which is stored. Yeah, it's part of the alaya consciousness. Okay? Yeah. Once it's stored there, it's part of it. And then, 第8世就称为能场, 能障. Yeah, the 8th consciousness itself is considered the 能障. The consciousness itself is the nenzang, is that which can store. Then there's the coming imprint, which is the seed, which is that which is stored. When I was attending the classes in US and I heard about this, I was like, maybe in today's context, there's another way to describe this. I would describe this as your hard disk. The hard disk. The data input comes through our input peripherals. And then we store it inside our hard disk. The hard disk, if you think about it, it actually matches very nicely. The hard disk contains data. The data is actually separate from the hard disk. But yet, you cannot say that it's separate. But it's not the same thing as a hard disk. The seeds and the consciousness, the storage consciousness, have this interrelationship. How did I jump to? Wait, how did we come back to this? Okay. 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 Not sure whether you the right thing, but let's continue. Whoever listens to this on the internet is going to have a good laugh. So, but do you see the parallel? Yeah. So okay. In the Yogacara school, we say that nothing is possible without the I consciousness. It's from within, but you cannot say that there's nothing outside also. So the first seven consciousness do exist. Yeah, do exist. Okay. These first seven consciousness are manifested from the seeds. Okay, I'm going to just jump ahead and ignore this first, since because I was trying to go with this, then bring in the relation. Okay, so this whole chunk here, in particular the sixth consciousness, okay, sometimes I draw this over here. Sometimes I draw the sixth consciousness here, and then the mental object here. Okay, sometimes I draw it that way. So that is all part of the mind. Yeah. But if you can bear with me here, the sixth consciousness is the mind consciousness. And in my school, we say that this is the main thing that actually plants seed. Yeah, but granted, number 7 and number 6 primarily together in cahoots plant a lot of default seeds. It plants seeds inside, and then the seeds, given the right conditions, manifest. Manifest in turn the first 7 consciousness. Why is it that we say that it includes everything? Because whatever you can perceive out there has to be perceived through the first 5 consciousness. In the Yogacara school, we say that whatever is perceived then appears in the mind as something called 示意显现. So, what is 示意显现? It means that, so 显现 is appear. Let me just loosely translate as similar appearance. Okay? Whatever we experience of the outside world through the senses, yeah, in our mind, a similar appearance appear. Something similar appear. Similar to what? Similar to what is outside. Yeah. But the thing outside is also manifested by our mind. Everything hamblang manifested through the alaya consciousness. But the fact that we call it manifested, it means that there's something outside here. Now this is quite different, if you think about it, this is quite different from the Madhyamika school, where they say, no, all these are empty of inherent nature. Yeah. Madhyamika school say, all this empty, everything hamplang empty. In the Yogacara school, we say, all this is not empty. You cannot say it's empty. We say that there's some tangibility in it. Yeah? But it is tangible in what way? It is dependent on 阿拉耶识为种子，虚妄分别所依. So with alaya consciousness having the seed plus very crucial thing, 虚妄分别, delusional thinking, delusional discrimination, which is in the Buddhist school we say our mind is usually in this deluded state. Because of these two conditions, the seeds plus our delusional thinking, then together it forms a condition for it to manifest. Yeah? And manifest this whole world. Hang on. So, then in that case, wow, what are we cultivating? In the Yogacara school we say, all these things is called a different name. It's called itachi. This is the scaffolding that I was mentioning before, that we need to slowly establish, but since we come to alaya, then one time give you all. Since we have finished Chinese New Year, all the goodies are, itachi. If you think about it, itachi, if you translate directly, dependent on other to arise. It is very similar to the Madhyamika school of dependent arising or conditional arising. But they differ in how they define this. In the Madhyamika school, it says all things depend on multiple conditions. Don't specifically say which condition. Yeah. And don't posit alaya consciousness. In the Madhyamika school, they don't talk about alaya consciousness. Yeah. The alaya school say, but how about the seeds? No, don't need. When there's conditions, then things arise. So easy to learn, nothing much to memorize. Don't have to talk about alaya consciousness, but hard to realize. Okay? Yeah. Yogacara school, no. Slowly, hold your horses. All these things, itachi. So you don't say that it's empty. You say that it depends on others to arise. And here the others refer to, firstly, number one, alaya consciousness. Yeah, the seeds. Ala ye shi wei zhongzi. Then number two, 虚妄分别所依. The 虚妄分别, the delusional discrimination. I try to go as literal as possible, then give you some explanation, so that my aim is not to confuse you, although it may sound confusing, but my aim is so that if you ever want to do further studies, then there's a higher chance that other texts that you read, you will see more connection. If I just give you the full rendering of the meaning, then you lose the connection to the earlier text already. So delusional discrimination. Yeah. These are the two conditions. Seeds, seeds and delusional discrimination. These are the conditions for all these things to arise. Okay? And we don't say that it's empty. So which part is empty? Yogacara school also say that something is empty. So what is empty? So this 示意显现, it arises in our mind. It is also itachi. But in our mind, the moment we see whatever is in our mind, we are attached to it as this is real. We are attached that this, we are seeing the real thing. You really see a monk outside, not what you discriminate. You really see your friend, you really see your enemy, you really see a nice bowl of laksa. We are attached to it immediately. Once you are attached to it, become 遍计所值. Okay, I'm sorry, but not my fault. Again, one more term. And I'm not cooking up terms on the fly. Okay, these are really terms inside the lineage. 遍计所值. So, let me double check on this. There's two writing, either this or this. So, pervasive attachment to all things as real. Yeah, this is basically what it's talking about. We are attached to whatever we perceive as real. This is empty. We think that what we see is real. What we see is actually not real. Yeah, the 示意显现 is actually not real. It's not substantial. It doesn't have any essence at all. Yeah, but we are attached to it. This is the real thing. Okay? In Yogacara school, it refuted this. So for centuries, these two schools have been having debates back and forth. Yeah. Over some decades, some centuries, then a new master come up, then debate, then defeat them. Then after a few centuries, another master come up from this side, debate, and then defeat them. Back and forth. It's very interesting. Yeah. And sometimes they seem to just differ on this critical point. Yeah. Here I want to highlight the similarity and also how this come about. So we are already over time. I just want to ask for maybe 2 more minutes, 5 more minutes maybe. Okay, how this development come about? In the Buddha's time, straightforward, anicca, dukkha, anatta, impermanent, suffering, no self. Gao Tim Sai. A lot of people get enlightened. After Buddha passed away, still people attain enlightenment. Yeah, but at a later stage, then without the Buddha around, you can see from the Abhidhamma itself, Pitaka, inside the Pali Canon, not in other lineage, that at some point, after the first council, towards the second council, many people think that after the second council, then differing views came about. No. It was because there was differing view, that's why there's the second or third council. Yeah. Second and third council started because they were starting to have differing views. So the views didn't start with the council. Yeah. First council was Mahakāccapa. Second council, it was because there were some differences in how they practice certain things. Yeah, like can you carry sword when you are traveling, things like that. Yeah, then there's something to do with money, okay. And until today, it's still a controversy. Can you use money? Cannot use money. Yeah? Cannot use money, then you don't have this Dhamma hall. You know what I mean? So tricky. Third council, they start to ask a question. Is the Buddha the same as Arahant? And so on and so forth. Yeah. Why? Because some of those who are declared to be Arahants, they exhibit certain behavior that don't seem to be in line with what the Buddha has said of Arahants. Yeah. So they start to question, what makes a person Arahant? Yeah. If the Buddha is Arahant, and this is also Arahant, then bo tio leh. Yeah. So questions like what is an Arahant? Distinction between the Buddha and Arahant. Yeah. What is Nibbana? Yeah. Haven't talked about emptiness at this stage. Yeah. What is impermanence? So on and so forth. Yeah. A lot of this. Yeah. From there, then arise what we typically say that around here, the nascent form of the 18 schools have started. Then eventually it developed into the full-blown 18 schools. Yeah, where they have views like, okay, does the world really exist? This question started to come up prior to establishment of the Madhyamika school by Venerable Nagarjuna, what we call Long Su Pusa, Nagarjuna. Yeah. At some point, some of the practitioners became attached attached to things as real. Yeah. Enlightenment, and the key thing is when such attachment become an impediment to the practice. Yeah, become an impediment. There are those who come from other schools, and although they join the Sangha, they bring with them their wrong views. Yeah, at a later stage. At a later stage. So what happened? Some of them bring with them attachment to an eternal self. But Buddha clearly refute self. Then there are those who say, well, with this life, then there's nothing left. Yeah. In fact, these are views that the Buddha has refuted in his time. But somehow, the later Sangha, some of them, when they came in, they brought with them this view. So, most would attribute the rise of the Madhyamika school, what we call Guan, to Venerable Nagarjuna. And he in one of the prime purpose of establishing this school is to refute that there's anything eternal. Yeah? And at the same time, there's nothing it's not that there's the disconnection, analysis. Yeah? Yuan Li Bian Li Zhong, and hence they call themselves the Madhyamikas. Yeah? We who actually abide by the middle view. Yeah? So that's why we keep on talking about Yuan Qi Xing Kong, dependent arising and empty. Yeah. These two aspects, there's a reason why it comes as a pair. It is directly to dispel the wrong view of eternalism and annihilism. Yeah. So beautiful. And that lasted for a while. Yeah. And helped people to have established right view, even though they started with wrong views. Come another few hundred years. Yeah. Then it is said that those who practice this then come up with a question. If all things are empty, yeah, then how about karma? Is karma empty as well? Is nirvana empty as well? Yeah. Is morality empty as well? Yeah. Is precepts empty? If everything is empty, then why observe any of this? So some of them then have, from the good teaching, then apply it wrongly. Yeah. Because actually the teaching comes in a pair. Dependent arising or conditional arising and emptiness. The two are together, it is a complete teaching. You just take the empty part, then you void everything. Now that is wrong. Yeah, so at a certain stage this happened, then Yogacara was established. Yeah, Venerable Asanga, Venerable Vasubandhu, they are brothers, and they saw this problem. Yeah. So they asked, they gave a teaching on Yogacara. And this Yogacara teaching, to answer this, then states, no. And in one of the early works called Mahayana Sangraha, which I've mentioned before, one of the earlier verses, the first verses inside the commentary, 无始时来界，一切法等一，有此有诸趣，即涅盘正德。So 无始时来界, since beginningless time, yeah, since beginningless eras. 无始时来界，一切法等一 all dharma equally depend on something. What is it? 一切法等一，有此有诸趣。Yeah, depend on something, and because of this something, there is all the different realms. 即涅盘正德 and also enlightenment. What is this? This is the opening verse to establish the support. Yeah, 所知一. 所知一. This is an important term to know. 所知一. Support for the knowable. Knowable, not noble. 所知一. So here, 所知一, what is 所知一? Anything that your mind can know, can perceive, in other words. In other words, all things. This is the title of the first chapter of that Mahayana Sangraha. And it is, what is this, Shuozi? What is it that all things depend on? Alaya consciousness. So this is called the summary of the Mahayana teachings. So Venerable Asanga, Venerable Vasubandhu, together, they spearhead this. Yeah? And inside, within this commentary itself that we are covering, it doesn't go into a lot of the subtle nuances. But as we are going through, once we are quite done with the scaffolding, then I can bring in some of those from the other commentary. Yeah, because in that, there's a lot of back and forth root questions and root answers. People challenge. And not some Tom, Dick and Harry, you know. Yeah, these are Buddhist practitioners. These are very learned monks. So when they ask questions, they ask, on what basis do you say that there must be this Allah consciousness? And they quote from sutras and to have counter arguments. Then Venerable Asanga replied, yeah, if you posit that this is not the case, then how about this other case? Yeah, I will go through some of these examples. Yeah. Just as a trivia, 所知一. This 所知, okay, refers to all things. And in the Mahayana tradition, there is often this misnomer, or saying that, you all these learn so much Dharma, 所知障. 所知障, obstacle. But I will tell you this, 所知障 doesn't mean that, you learn too much, then your knowledge become an obstacle. No. Literally, if you translate right, 所知, the knowable obstacle. But it doesn't mean what many Buddhists many Mahayana Buddhists and some even teachers keep describing 所知障, and then they would use that to tell people, don't learn too much, all your knowledge become an obstacle. Usually it's said by those who don't learn. And it's because they don't learn. It's not that you need to get a degree or diploma or master's, It's that if you just look at the commentary, that's not what the Buddha said, not what the early master said. 所知障 is referring to those who do not see clearly that all things depend on alaya consciousness. And in the Mahayana Sangraha, then it has this description of the different teachings on dependent arising. I will cover subsequently. For now, that should be enough for you to go and digest. Put our palms together. 愿消三障诸烦恼，愿得智慧真明了，普愿罪障悉消除，世世常行菩萨道。阿弥陀佛，起立。是为至诚礼佛行三问讯礼，一问讯，再问讯，三问讯。Till we meet again, may be guided and protected by the Buddha, Dhamma and the Sangha. Sadhu. And as always, 乖乖，新年快乐。Today is the 18th